It's in our nature to protect the ones we love, to stand up to any danger, to be strong and courageous, to always be prepared, to keep our family safe, to be the first line of defense. We are born to protect.
All right, what's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you for joining us. Today we have the Sig P320 M17 on the table. The U.S. Army's new sidearm, and I'm excited to show this one to you. We recently did the Beretta M9A3, and I thought this would be a perfect companion to go along with them, shoot them side by side, see how they do, and pretty soon here we'll have a comparison with the Beretta M9A3 coming up. Big thanks to our SHOT team over on Patreon. If you'd like to join our awesome community over there and help us maybe pick our next firearm review or just have some of the cool benefits that we have for you guys, we'd love for you to join us. And that video you've seen before our video started is from the USCCA. If you'd like to join them, all law-abiding gun owners, protect yourself legally and financially. They do help our channel. We've been with them since 2015, and they're an awesome company. If they are in your state, which they're in most states, make sure you go over and check them out and protect yourself as a law-abiding gun owner. So let's go ahead and get started. The M17, it's going to come in a pretty standard case here. Let's go ahead and open it up. And this is what you're going to get. All right, you're going to get the gun. And they are proud to announce that this is the new sidearm of the United States. You guys know I've been a huge fan of the P320 for several years now, since 2015, which is when I got my first one. I've just fallen in love with this platform, man, and apparently the U.S. Army did as well. Just doing some reading on that, man, is really interesting. The kind of back and forth, how Beretta almost felt like they were left out of the loop, and it came down to Sig Sauer and Glock. And as far as out of the loop, I mean, by Beretta not knowing that their guns were having issues and stuff. And there's always more to it. I'm sure money was maybe an object of this whole thing too. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know all the details, but I thought it was pretty interesting to kind of seeing how all that unfolded there. But this is the new sidearm, man, and it is a beautiful gun. You can see the two-tone FDE between the polymer and the steel slide there. It's going to come with 3 magazines, depending, of course, on what state you live in. It's going to come with 117 and then 119 extended mag there. It's kind of interesting because it's actually looks good, feels good, functions good, but they kind of left this off there, and I'm assuming maybe if somebody has bigger hands that allows that to kind of stay off of your hand so you can easily insert and get a fresh mag in there. I'm not sure. Booklet, all of that good stuff. It's going to come with an M17 patch there as well. And let's go ahead and get the box out of the way. Of course, it's going to come with paperwork and all that good stuff. Let's get the box out of the way and check out the star of the show. All right, so overall length is 8 inches. 4.7-inch barrel, 29.6 ounces unloaded, so it's a pretty heavy gun. 5.5 inches in overall height. Width is 1.3 inches. And yeah, this Coyote tan PVD coated finish, stainless steel slide. And it also has an optic plate up on top, so if you wanted to put an optic on there, you can do that. And I kind of like how they use this contrast between the black and the FDE, or Coyote tan as they call it. Sig Light front and rear night sights there, which is pretty good. I actually am a fan of the Sig Light night sights. I prefer their X-ray sights, but these do a decent job. So, picked rail right here. Kind of squared off trigger guard that is serrated there, undercut in the trigger guard. Magazine release, you can tell it's a little bit extended, it looks like there. Works as it should. The magazines are pretty responsive. They don't pop out of there quite like the Beretta M9A3 does, but they do a good enough job, I think. And it's very similar to my P320 RX that I have here. Of course, this one's unloaded as well. But you can see just the size difference, which is what I really wanted to show you there. It's a little bit longer, a little bit taller. Of course, this one has an optic, so it's going to look a little bit taller, but this one actually is taller. This is a 15-round gun, by the way, and of course, standard mag on the M17 is a 17-round gun. But again, a huge fan of the P320. Now, this one, of course, comes with the safety. So the M19, I believe, is the actual version that that our U.S. Army carries. Not many changes or differences between this one and the M19 as far as I can see, but they had to have the safety on there. That's just a requirement, but you can work the slide even with the safety on. It's just going to lock that trigger out, which we'll talk about that trigger after the shooting part of the review. You can tell it's one of the updated triggers as well. If you look on this older version of the P320, this is one of the earlier versions of that model. Okay, reversible magazine release. Love the grip texturing. This is something that Sig does, and it's a semi-aggressive, but it doesn't feel bad at all in your hands. It feels really good actually. Loaded chamber indicator, so this is just going to pop right up. We'll take a good picture for you so you can see that. And the extractor is going to stick out just a little bit as well to show you there's a round in the chamber. Slide stop is ambidextrous. You can see it's fully guarded on this side, half guarded on this side. That way they can show you the serial number there. And then, of course, this thing is modular. So that was a huge part of them going with the M17, according to the U.S. Army. And they wanted something that fit more hands and a more modular design. You can see you have kind of that blacked out rear sight there and the white front sight there. They are Sig-Light night sights, but gives you a pretty decent contrast there when you're looking down sight, especially in the daytime there. Striker fired, beaver tail, all of that good stuff. The gun looks very nice. All the P320s, I think, just are slick-looking firearms for sure. Ambidextrous features, and this gun is a tack driver. It's a really good shooter. I also want to show you what it looks like compared to the Beretta M9A3. If we don't count the beaver tails, just slide to slide, you can see really the biggest difference is the fact the Beretta M9A3 has that threaded barrel there. If we look at them from the rear there, they look pretty dang similar to me. The Sig is like 0.2 of an inch less wide in the grip, which can make a difference, but they're pretty dang similar there. And then if we put them on their backs, the Beretta M9A3 is 17 rounds. Of course, this one's 17 rounds, and they are almost identical pretty much all the way around. So I definitely wanted to show you all that and what it looks like compared to the gun that it beat out in the Beretta M9A3 there. So let's go ahead and break it down, and then I'll take you guys to the range with us. Lock it back to the rear. You don't have to pull the trigger or anything like that. It's going to come right off. And then this, of course, being the grip module that you can just pull right out of here. And actually, this whole thing comes out, and if you want to change the grip modules, you can do that. And that's one of the things with the P320 that made it so popular originally. I'm not going to do that here today. I've done it in the past, but all stainless steel components there. Captive guide rod, all right, stainless steel, and then there is your barrel right there, okay? So we've done the P320s in the past. I'm interested to see if this gun is any different at the range. So let's go ahead and put it back together. We will take y'all to the range with us, and then afterwards we'll get Miss Techshot on the other side of the table and get her opinion on it as well. We will see y'all in a minute. Grouping with both, by the way.
Old ammo. Shot it, it just didn't.
All right, so hopefully y'all enjoyed that. As far as using the gun, it works just as you would think it does. The front and rear slide serrations work perfectly if you want to do press checks and things like that. They're cut enough deep in the slide where I feel like they work really good. Using the safety, I didn't really use it because I had no real reason to do that. I didn't carry this gun, so I didn't go along with that at all. But as far as dropping the slide stop, because of where the safety is, they're right next to each other. It's not terrible to use, but you can kind of just rest your thumb on there, drop the slide. Not a problem at all. Of course, you have the removable front sight if you want to do that as well. But using the gun, shooting the gun, it shoots like a P320. I mean, it didn't shoot any better or worse than any of the P320s that I've had in the past. Let's check the weight of the trigger. 7 pounds, 5 ounces. Let's try it again. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. So it's not the lightest trigger in the world, but it's also just a pretty crisp trigger. All right, a little bit heavier than I think the P320s I've done in the past, but let's try it here. A little bit of creep, but very little travel. That's one thing you'll notice. Reset right there. And again, you have all this air back here, bunch of air so you can get, glove fingers and things like that. The trigger doesn't have to travel as far, so it makes it really enjoyable and really easy to shoot. So that's a good thing right there. Let's get the camera flipped around to me and Miss Tech Shot, and we'll end this video out with pros and cons. All right, so we have the M17 on the table. I have the lovely Miss Tech Shot to help us out with this part of the video. Pros and cons on the M17, P320 M17. Let's start with the pros because I think there's more of those. This is a P320 through and through, and I think the way the gun feels in the hand, the modularity, which I don't really use a whole lot, to be honest with you, but that's a cool thing. And that's part of the reason they say that this gun won the contract. And I think one of the biggest things is that consistent trigger pull. All right. The Beretta M9A3, we'll get to that in a later video as far as how they shoot side by side. But this gun is more consistent. The trigger pull is actually pretty dang good at 7.5 pounds, 7 pounds, something like that. Very consistent. The Sig Light night sights they use, I really like these because you have that a better contrast between the rear sight and the front sight than you do on the normal Sig Light night sights, blacked out in the rear there. Just an awesome shooting gun. Feels good in the hand. Love the grip texturing and everything. What really stuck out to you whenever we were shooting this gun?
Just the ease of use with it. Like, everything was really smooth. Like, the slide being pulled back, everything was really easy.
Yeah. As far as shooting it, what did you like the trigger? Was it okay?
Not really. I wasn't a big fan of the trigger at all.
No? Okay.
The trigger on this gun was just heavy.
It is a heavier trigger. It's heavier than my other P320 for sure, and I know even brand new it's heavier than that. But I guess that's probably, I don't know, maybe because there's such a short travel, they had to make it a little bit heavier for the specs. For the Army, the safety just kind of gets in the way for me, but I understand it has to be there for the Army's specs and what they actually need. Love the coloration. It just, I don't know that it, like...
There's nothing wow about it.
There's nothing wow about it, I guess, yeah. Although the P320 series to me is one of the best striker fire guns out there, I was kind of expecting just a little bit more with this variation. I mean, this is, MSRP is like $7.99 or something.
Like
yeah. So it's not a cheap gun, and I'm proud to have it in my collection. There's just nothing wow about it. I love the fact that it comes with 3 mags. It's a good shooting gun. It's a combat gun, though. It's not a precision target type of gun. It's made to get shots on target and be reliable, and that's what it did. So we got to appreciate it for that. Awesome handgun. I love it. I love the P320s, but I want to hear what your opinion is, too, down in the comments below. Let us know what you like about the M17 compared even to the Beretta M9A3. We will be doing that video here shortly, so make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold 'em down.